Anansi and the Talking Tree. Long ago, before street lights and phones, before the night was pushed back by electricity, when stories were the only maps people had, there lived a spider. Not an ordinary spider, not the kind you brush away from the corner of your ceiling. This one walked like a man, talked like a man, and schemed like 10 men put together. His name was Anansi. And if there was trouble, mischief, or cleverness in the air, Anansi was usually somewhere nearby, watching, thinking, smiling. At the edge of a small village beside the forest, people worked hard every day. They farmed under the hot sun. They fished in the river. They carried water and chopped wood and planted yams in stubborn soil. Life was not easy. If your harvest failed, you went hungry. If the rains didn't come, your children suffered. Every morning, before sunrise, the workers walked into the forest to gather what they needed, and every morning, Anansi watched them. Because Anansi hated one thing more than anything else: work. He loved food. He loved comfort. He loved lying in the shade while others sweated. But lifting a finger himself? Never. One afternoon, he lay on his back, staring at the clouds when his belly growled, long and loud and angry. He hadn't eaten since yesterday. No one had shared with him lately. The villagers had learned their lesson. Feed Anansi once, and he would come back 10 times. Help him once, and he would expect help forever. So now they simply shook their heads and walked away. Anansi clicked his tongue. Fine, he muttered. If they won't feed me, I'll outsmart them. Because if there was one thing Anansi trusted, it was his brain. He wandered into the forest, searching for something he could steal, trick, or claim. He walked deeper than usual, past the yam fields, past the streams, past the places hunters liked to rest. The forest grew quieter the farther he went. Too quiet. No birds, no insects, only the wind moving through the leaves. Then he saw it. A tree. But not just any tree. It was enormous. Its trunk was wider than a house. Roots twisted through the earth like giant sleeping snakes. Its branches stretched high into the sky like arms trying to touch the sun. The bark shimmered faintly, almost as if it were breathing. Anansi stopped. Something about it felt alive. He circled the tree, looking for fruit or nuts or honey, but there was nothing. Useless, he muttered, turning away. Wait! The voice was deep and slow, like wood creaking in the heat. Anansi froze. He looked left and right. No one. Little spider. The voice came again, from everywhere at once. Who said that? He whispered. I did, the voice replied. The trunk seemed to vibrate beneath his feet. The bark shifted. The tree was speaking. Anansi's legs trembled, but curiosity pushed him forward. What are you? He asked. I am older than your village, said the tree. Older than your grandfather's grandfathers. I am the keeper of knowledge, stories, secrets, wisdom. Anansi's eyes widened. Knowledge meant advantage. Secrets meant power. What kind of secrets? He asked. I know where water hides during drought, the tree said. I know which roots cure sickness. I know where animals sleep. I know where gold lies buried. Gold, food, power. If he knew all that, he would never have to work again. People would depend on him. They would bring him gifts. They would beg for his help. "What must I do?" Anansi asked quickly. "Nothing," said the tree. "I simply share knowledge with those who listen." Free knowledge. That sounded perfect. So Anansi sat, and the tree spoke. It told him where the juiciest fruits grew, where fish gathered in deep pools, which mushrooms healed fevers, which paths hunters used, which fields would flood and which would thrive. The secret poured into him like rain into dry earth. By sunset, his head was spinning with information. He grinned. This was going to be wonderful. The next morning, he went to the villagers. Casually, he said, "If you fish in the eastern pool today, you'll catch more than usual." They laughed at first, but when they checked, the pool was thick with fish. The next day, he told them where to plant. The crops grew tall and green. Then he shared which leaves cured coughs. The medicine worked. Soon people stopped laughing. They started listening, then thanking, then paying. Food began to pile up at Anansi's door. Yams, plantains, fish, honey, even meat. He didn't have to lift a leg. People came to him with questions. "Where should we farm? Which herb will help my child? Where should we hunt?" He answered, but always for a price. 2 fish, a basket of fruit, a favor. Slowly, something changed inside him. He stopped helping freely. He began hoarding. If someone couldn't pay, he shrugged. "No secret for you." If someone was poor, too bad. If someone was sick, come back when you have something to trade. The knowledge that once flowed like water became locked behind him. The village grew tense. People whispered that Anansi had changed, that he had become greedy. But Anansi didn't care. He lay on his pile of food and laughed. "I am the smartest creature alive," he said. One afternoon, a small girl came to him. Her eyes were red from crying. Her mother was very ill. They had nothing left to give. "Please," she said softly, "do you know a cure?" Anansi looked at her empty hands. "No payment, no secret," he said. "But she might die." He turned away. "Not my problem." That night, a storm rolled in. Thunder cracked across the sky. Rain hammered the earth, and through the wind came a deep, familiar voice. "Little spider." Anansi shivered. It was the tree. He returned to the forest, annoyed and uneasy. "What now?" he called. The tree's leaves rustled heavily. "Why do you hoard what I gave you?" "It's mine," Anansi snapped. "I earned it." "I shared freely," said the tree. "You turned wisdom into chains." "So what? It makes me rich." The forest fell silent. Then the tree spoke slowly. "Knowledge that is not shared dies." Suddenly, Anansi felt something slipping away. He tried to remember the fish pool. Nothing. The healing leaves. Gone. The fields, the gold, the paths. Empty. "Wait!" he cried. "Stop!" But the tree continued. "You wanted knowledge only for yourself. So now you will keep nothing." By morning, every secret had vanished from his mind. He rushed back to the village. People asked him questions. He had no answers. They stopped coming. The gifts stopped. The food stopped. His pile disappeared. Days later, he sat under a tree, hungry again, exactly where he had started. Then the little girl passed by. She held out a small mango. "For helping us before," she said. Even after he had refused her, she still shared. Anansi stared at the fruit. For once he felt something new. Not greed, not cleverness, shame. From that day on, when Anansi learned something useful, he shared it. Sometimes he still tricked people. Sometimes he still schemed. He was still Anansi after all. But he remembered one lesson. Knowledge is like water. If you dam it up, it stagnates. If you let it flow, everyone drinks. And deep in the forest, the old tree listened to the wind, waiting for the next traveler to pass beneath its branches, ready to teach again. If you enjoyed this tale, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so that more people can enjoy African folklore. Until next time, be good and stay safe.